we rebranded the conference because it was time to rebrand it. Some of you might know the news already. I shared with you yesterday, but that one is not certain. It was just like a rumor I wanted to give you about ending this series of conference, but we're not certain that Budapest conference will go on in the next years. Either way, we have our long-standing Prague conference, which is very well attended, and the Mare Balticum. So if you want to get a glimpse into the Central and Eastern European compliance updates, make sure to pre-register or even register for Prague, which is on March 26-27. We have a couple of people missing since they were partying last week in Barcelona. They are now sick, but we also have some people with emergencies who could not attend, unfortunately, even in the first panel. So I will not take further time from this. I just want to also share some information with you that I hope that you don't forget. It's about the evening social gathering. I will keep repeating this. It's at Barside, Budapest. It's like 600 meters walking distance. Not at the pub where we were last night. It's the other direction. So that once you exit the Ritz, you know where to go. We start at 8 o'clock. We wrap up at probably 3 in the morning. So come by, drinks, snacks, food are on us. Hope to see you, as many of you as possible there, but make sure to take your vitamins because tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock we meet in front of Merkur Budapest to go for the networking run. So who is interested, make sure you have this in your agenda. So the first session is dedicated for Hungary, Poland, Czech Republic, Slovenia and Croatia. Unfortunately, Poland and Croatia are missing, but I have their description, so I will read it out for you so you get the information. So I would like to invite the speakers on stage, starting with Jasmina, Gábor and Petr. So before we dive into the update from Poland and Croatia, I would like to invite my panelists to give a short introduction about themselves, to say a few words about why you have entered the legal industry, because like my favorite actor Seinfeld said that, you know, like, we need to have people like lawyers everywhere in the country because we are all just like throwing our dices and moving things around, but the lawyers are the people who actually read the rules which are written inside the box. So, Jasmina, let's start with you. Just like give a short introduction of who you are and what you represent. And the microphone is on. It's on, yeah.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Jasmina Poglavc. I'm coming from Slovenia. I've been in online gaming industry for over 16 years. I'm not a lawyer, but I also work in many areas, including compliance. I'm not that present in the Slovenian market. I've been mostly working with other jurisdictions like German, Maltese, but yeah, I will try to cover also the Slovenian part today.
All right, thank you. Gábor, I don't think that you need any introductions, but there are so many new people here that don't know you yet.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, everyone. So I'm Gábor Helembai. I'm an attorney at law qualified under Hungarian law, and I'm working at TaylorWessing law firm, and I'm part of the international gaming practice group. I'm representing the Hungarian office. I started to work in the gaming industry 17 years ago with land-based casinos, but as the technology advanced, we more and more focused on online gambling, and nowadays this is my main practice area in the gaming industry.
Thank you. Petr? It's on.
It's on?
Yeah.
Okay. So happy to be there again. My name is Petr Kozák. I come from Prague, from Czech Republic. Maybe some of you know me already. And I am a lawyer. I work for the Institute for Gambling Regulation, which is the gambling association, the biggest gambling association in the Czech Republic. We gather together like operators, suppliers, testing labs, even from abroad and from the Czech Republic, like 90%, 95% of the market. And I'm also a lawyer in Skill Consulting Group, so this is like a company which is dealing with all the regulation issues that hurts the operators and so on.
All right, it's good. In a short, it's good to know Petr. If you're going to the Czech Republic, it's good to know Petr and Jan. All right, so before we dive in, of course, to the host country, Hungary, I would like to read out the short descriptions the missing speakers have sent me from Marek, Plota about Poland. It says that as Poland gears up for the upcoming elections on the 15th of October, the gambling industry is very eager to see what happens, because there are some pressing issues around the gambling sector, like prospects of tax changes and how they intervene with the agendas of various political parties. This is going on also in other countries in Eastern and Central Europe. So the gambling sector currently entangled in a web of taxes ranging from 25 to 35% of GGR for both online casinos and sports betting, and they are eagerly watching the industry's lobbying activity and its conceptual proposals. So there's also a murmur about the Gambling Guarantee Fund and discussion about extending verticals, like to include non-sport verticals, crush games, poker and more, painting a vivid picture of the industry expanding horizons. There is also the paradoxical stance of regulators on social games. The latest case law seemingly deems social casinos prohibited, presenting an incongruity with the regulator's previous position where loot boxes were assessed as legal. So disparity in treatment between mobile apps and web services adds another layer to the intricate tapestry of Poland's gambling scenario. While the industry traverses throughout uncertainties, you may want to reach out to Marek. You can find him on LinkedIn for more observation, or you can register there for the European Gaming Congress, which will take place in Warsaw in Poland. We have a panel dedicated for the Polish gambling industry. We have the main bodies that are active in Poland joining us. We also have the Ukrainian gambling regulator joining us, and we will touch base on Portugal, Spain, Italy, Greece, so there's lots to talk about in Warsaw. It's on the 31st of October. Those who register, make sure to pack your Halloween costumes, because we are hosting a Halloween party in Warsaw. So I will continue now with the Croatian update. Either way, this will be uploaded on our website. So Damir Hasaković from Croatia has sent the following details: that as of the 1st of January 2023, you know that Croatia has undergone a significant change because they joined the Schengen area, and now they are operating in euros. So the gambling industry in Croatia is meticulously regulated and falls under the administration of the Ministry of Finance. It's crucial to note that there are 3 primary types of concessions for organizing games of chance in the country. These include casino. There are 20 licenses, with 19 being used and 1 still available. Slots clubs, there are 50 licenses available, 50 licenses in total, 43 are in use, and sports betting, for which there are currently 7 licenses. So obtaining a license in Croatia is a rigorous process, possibly under tough tenders announced by the Ministry of Finance. This process ensures the utmost transparency and adherence of regulations, as we all know in every country. So they are potentially looking for a new gambling law in next year, in 2024. The point of considerable interest and speculations, especially with the upcoming elections there, as well as I told you, in many countries in Central and Eastern Europe, there are elections coming next year. So political parties are taking advantage to having the gambling industry on the agenda. So the focus on the gambling industry and its regulation in Croatia is comprehensive. It lays significant emphasis on anti-money laundering protocols, safeguarding minors for visiting and participants of games of chance, and combating addiction, of course. This achieved through strategic cooperation with the Ministry of Health and strict compliance with the EU regulation. These measures exemplify Croatia's commitment to fostering responsible and ethical sound gaming environment. About responsible gaming, you will hear in the next panel discussion. So, I'm already tired, guys. So let's start with Hungary, because that's the tradition here for the past 8 years, and we are happy to have Gábor here every year. So, Gábor, the Hungarian online gambling market has constantly been growing or not growing. So is it really growing or just a gray zone turning to white?
Yes, so let's start with the good news. I think that Hungarian online market is booming. If you look at the figures of the annual report of the State Gaming Organizer, which shows that in 2022 the revenue from online betting exceeded 1 billion euros. Which is about 57% of the total revenue of all the game types. And the trend is also promising, because in the last 4 years, the growth was a 2-digit percentage on a year-on-year basis. And the biggest concessionaire which operates the most popular licensed online casino in Hungary produces the same results. So it seems that investing in the Hungarian online gambling market is a good business. The question is whether the cake is the same size and only the white market grabs the bigger share, or the whole size of the cake is growing as well. Nevertheless, the CEO of the State Gaming Organizer is very optimistic. On the one hand, the results of the first 6 months this year shows the same results, so the tendency continues. And on the other hand, the new regulation was introduced from 1st of January, which supports the operation of the licensed operators in terms of online betting.
So online betting is subject to license, right?
Yes, just to sum up, I don't want to go into the details because maybe it's not so important for the non-lawyer audience, but yes, the Hungarian licensing system is a non-liberalized system, which means that, which means that if you want to open an online casino or online betting service in Hungary, you have to get a concession, which means that it depends on the discretion of the Hungarian state whether it gives you the concession or not, independently of the fact whether you are meet the conditions or not. What has changed from the 1st of January is that in respect of the online betting, you don't have to apply for a concession. You only have to apply for a license, which means you submit your application, and if you are qualified, I mean if you meet the conditions, which is set by the law, then you will get the license and you can operate freely.
Well, thank you. I will get back to you with more questions,
Yep,
but there's a similar scenario in Slovenia as well, because the online gambling has been developing as slowly as it was in Hungary. So, Jasmina, given the slow development of the online gambling market in Slovenia, compared to the well-developed land-based market which actually exists. What steps do you think need to be taken to expand the digitalization of the gambling industry in Slovenia?
Yeah, like you mentioned, Slovenia has a history and tradition of gambling, and land-based market is very well developed, which we cannot say unfortunately for the online. I think similar to Hungary, so in order you can operate online, you need to have a land-based license concession. So this is a first limitation. Also, the business models enforced, so it currently does not allow private entities or foreign private entities to enter the market. We basically have a monopoly in Slovenia, and there have been several attempts in the last years to change this, so to open market, to grant more licenses, to change actually the licensing model, to issue more licenses, and also allow private entities and foreign companies to enter the market. However, all the tries have failed so far, and yeah, we don't foresee any changes in the near future. Just the proposed act was not adopted recently, so we are replacing a status quo in Slovenia.
All right. Yeah. So, who has been at this conference in earlier years? Just raise your hand. Right, good. So you know that we always have this panel discussion about the Central and Eastern European markets, and Hungary and Slovenia is the same scenario every year. We might have good news, hope things will change, and changes are coming to the Czech Republic every time, at every conference. That's something that's very popular there. So there's a legislative shift there. So Petr, can you provide some insights into the new gambling legislation, which is going to be in effect starting the 1st of January, right?
Yes.
And specifically, how do you see the bonus restrictions, legalization of live dealer games, the Czech way, and the introduction of features like the panic button, which are impacting player experience and operator conduct?
Yeah, okay. So, this working?
Yeah.
Now it's working. Okay, I will focus on these topics that you mentioned, because hopefully this is what can interest all of us, and especially the people from the foreign countries. There is new legislation which has been long time prepared, and we were trying to be involved in the process of creating it as much as we could, but sometimes we were more successful, which is the live dealer introduction into the Czech system, or the Czech regulatory environment. And there are other things that still are not very successful story, but this is more into the taxation part. So let's start with yes, there is a new legislation which is like, it is gambling amendment, but it's like a new code, because it's completely, it's a lot of technical things, but there are also a lot of changes into all operational things, online, land-based, everything.
You can call it the yearly review.
Yeah. So the first thing, which is quite uncomfortable for everyone, that this is not still, the act is still in the legislation process. It's still not published. And there is a question mark if it will go through the whole process. There are 90% yes, but still, you want it on the paper to start making changes, for example, to prepare for the panic button, because this is a feature to allow the player to stop in playing immediately and to sign up into registry of excluded persons for 48 hours or forever, like at least for 1 year. That means forever means at least for 1 year. Yeah, this is the possibility. And now everyone has a little bit headache when it would be like accidentally a lot of players pushing this panic button, and then calling back, oh no, it was a mistake, I don't want it, and so on. But this case is, the practice will bring us the results we will see. The other thing is that it's in land-based and online also. Our little success was that in online environment, the panic button should have been in all the time on screen, even in the full screen mode, which was like all the suppliers said, oh, that's absolutely impossible to switch on it. But now the Ministry of Finance says, okay, not in the full screen mode.
Okay.
Somewhere, yeah. Somewhere, yes. And the important thing that there is a transitional period for the panic button introduction until the half-year transitional period, so it comes from the 1st of July 2024. Other thing is the bonus restrictions, because it should come into force from the 1st of January. And the secondary legislation which will say which bonuses will be restricted and forbidden, it's still not written. Or it's written, but it's still not in the process. Maybe now it's in a process of comments on the Ministry of Finance, and afterwards it will go out. So it will come out somehow in November, and you will have 1 or 2 months maximum to apply all these changes. And the bonuses, it's not that hard that we expected before, because there was a lot of discussions, and it's mostly the bonuses that somehow encourages players to compete, like who bets the most, who wins the most, and so on. So these kind of bonuses, and the kind of bonuses that has the condition that you can't withdraw the money from your account until you just, but there was, for example, another thing that it shouldn't be possible to use the bonus or the free spins or anything in the period of 24 hours. So you get the bonus and you have to wait 24 hours and then you can use it. This was like the ministry proposal, but after the discussions, okay, this is stupid a bit. And there is not here anymore, but still this is like just the first draft. And it's secondary legislation, so they can come anytime and say, hey, this doesn't work, we'll make it stricter. So now it's a little bit on the market, how everyone will handle this and how they will behave. And if it will work, it can be just like this. They say it's like soft way, this way. Yeah, maybe. And the third thing, make it shorter, is the live dealer game introduction. It's a like half success story, half not, but mostly yes, it's a success story. Because in the beginning, when we were pushing for like, why not to allow a live dealer in the Czech Republic, and the Ministry of Finance says absolutely no, there's no way. As I said, why? And we start to gather the arguments and the experience from other countries and so on. And they say, okay, 20% yes. And they say, hey, okay, live dealer will be. But there will be in the Czech way. So the live dealer game is possible. Well, it's possible only from the land-based premises, from the land-based casino, which has the permission in the Czech Republic. And there, in this casino, has to be made the studio, which has to be like in the casino, but it has to be separate from the what is happening in the casino. So
that's the Czech way.
That's the Czech way, but the studio can be operated by the different operator than the casino license holder.
Yeah, but it has to be in the premises.
Yeah, it has to be in the premises. The argument was the control. Who knows? We have some doubts about it, but yes, it's possible to do this, and there are a lot of like technical and some ridiculous, some less and some more things that has to be like done, and the multi-stream also, it will be possible. So this is maybe the possibility for land-based to take a breath, because it's still restricted more and more and more, especially by the municipality legislation and so on. But this needs to have some synergy between online and land-based, so the scissors are opening between the land-based and online, and this can come into like, make a little bit of synergy. We will see what future brings.
No, maybe they change their minds.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I don't think it was 2 years ago, ago, we had the news from Hungary that the first license was granted for the online casino operator. And we were like, wow, finally, it's going to like be a boom in Hungary, but there are no information on other licenses being granted. So, Gábor, my question is, are there no applicants or there is no intention to grant further licenses?
Yeah, that's the most important question in this panel, I mean regarding Hungary. But before answering, just understand the current situation and the importance of the new regulation, and just give you a little background. So, due to the very restrictive licensing regime, you all know, I guess, that the European Court of Justice reached 2 landmark decisions in 2017, which stipulated that the Hungarian legal regime is against the European law. So foreign operators, at least who has a license, valid license in another EU country, could not be sanctioned and could not be blocked. So this resulted in a development of a huge grey area, a grey industry in Hungary in the past 5 years, and it was a kind of heaven for these European-based foreign operators, because they could provide their services in Hungary without restrictions. They don't have to comply with the Hungarian regulations. They didn't have to pay tax here. So it was a very convenient position for them. So after all, the regulator changed their mind, and this new regulation for online betting is another station in the constant legal battle between the Hungarian government and the foreign operators, because now the Hungarian government said, okay, you can apply for a license. So the decision of the European Court of Justice could not be applied anymore, because the Hungarian regulation now is very liberalized and open. You can apply whenever you want. But of course, it's another question whether the conditions required by the law are fair or compliant with the EU law. So the new regulation entered into force on the 1st of January, so not much time has elapsed since then. We only know that one operator got the license. Hold your chair, because this operator is a Hungarian concessionaire, so it's not a foreign operator. So it seems that there are 2 options. Either the foreign operators didn't apply for a license in Hungary so far, because they are waiting for the developments, or some of them have already applied, but they were refused. Unfortunately, this information is not public, so we have no certainty in this respect. But the fact is that currently only there are 2 licenses: the state gambling operator and the casino concessionaire.
All right, thank you. Jasmina, versus Hungary, the legislation in Slovenia is much older, and there's no refreshment there. So considering the outdated regulation, and of course there's a lack of interest in adaptation to current digital reality we are living, what are your thoughts on how the regulatory framework in Slovenia could evolve to better suit the modern digital landscape in the gambling industry?
Yeah, first of all, I think it should address online gambling specifically, because in the Act from 1995, it's not really addressed. I mean, we have like classification of classic game of chance and special game of chance, and this is all there is. Remote gambling or online gambling is only mentioned as a form of gambling on such device, electronic device. So I think the regulators will first have to look into this area and define online gambling a little bit more in detail. Of course, then changing the licensing model. Currently we have a state-owned monopoly. And obviously there are interests for this. But yeah, this would be one thing that we need to change and open the market, which is again maybe against the current approach of the EU countries. But I think for Slovenia, as a relatively small market, it would make sense to open the market to allow foreign operators to apply for the license and to operate in Slovenia as well.
That's about it. And maybe can you elaborate on the challenges and implications of Slovenia's licensing model, the current one, and the closed market structure which it has on the growth and evolution of the online gambling?
So yeah, currently we have state-owned monopoly or duopoly, so there are 2 licenses, betting licenses issued. The plan was to raise these to 5 betting licenses. So yeah, I mean, currently with this, I mean, players are still gambling in Slovenia, right? So it's not, and it's also not illegal for the Slovenians to play on the internet, on gambling sites. But as these are not regulated by Slovenian laws, of course, also player protection, it goes around Slovenia. So consumer rights are not properly regulated and protected. As well, of course, no taxes are collected from these businesses. So I think opening the market would also attract foreign business investments, and of course more business means more tax collected, and all this money is also used for financing sports and humanitarian organizations. So I think from this perspective, opening the market in Slovenia kind of makes sense.
It would, like in Hungary as well. So back to Petr for the positive sides of things on this panel. So uncertainties first and then text. First, just like let's talk about the uncertainties. Like, given that the new legislation is like still pending approval, how are operators and suppliers in Czechia, not Czech Republic, preparing for the significant changes, and what are the prevailing sentiments on, and maybe some concerns the industry has? And about this taxation, maybe you can elaborate on the implication of the new taxation which are coming into effect.
Okay. So the first, how the operators and suppliers are preparing. As you said, there is uncertainty. So everyone is like just stepping on its place and waiting when it will be really on the paper. But of course, everyone is doing the steps that are possible to do right now. The biggest issue, which is still about with a foggy notion, it's the certification after the 1st January 2024, and the test labs, even the Czech ones, still don't know how it will look like, because there are...
GLI most probably knows already.
Yeah, hope so. Yeah, but still, you see how it will be in practice. The live dealer game is absolutely new product, and there are still not the secondary legislation with the certification parameters that's still not written. So this is the situation.
And we're end of September, so...
Yeah, but on the other hand, there are a lot of opportunities now because it will be the beginning, and this will be the period of time where all these things will be fixed. So now, if it will be a successful story, it's in the hands of operators and in the discussions with the ministry to somehow handle it in the right way, and the most easiest way, and not the formalistic as it was before. So I hope it will be hard, and everyone will be in the big run, and this like the end of this year and the first half of the next one, it will be just like really marathon, but in sprint. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, the taxation is a different story, because these things are like legislation process, they are coming together, but it's different views and because the regulatory things are more technical and more legislative, and the taxation is 100 politics only. It's a political thing.
It's an increase, right?
Yes, yes. It's a political thing because now the Czech government looks everywhere where to take some more money because of the budgetary reasons. So the taxation is increasing, especially for the games that they were not until now on the maximum level. So it's like sports betting and live game, for example, is from 23% to 30%, and slot games, for example, still pending on the 35%. This is just for example. The other things which are maybe worse from our point of view is that there is new taxation of winnings,
yeah,
which has not been, there will be over 1 million crowns and lotteries and so on, but now it will be over 50,000 crowns only per year, every player on every different gambling games, which is from every single player needs to have some account or accounting to have some diary and to fill all the wins and then count at the end of the year, or to have some account manager. I think nobody knows if this could work. And the last thing is that this change in the budgetary allocation, which will have the effect for the slot games in land-based, especially because this takes the money from the municipalities in favor of the state to make it say it very easy. It's more complicated, but it will mean that these municipalities won't have any reason to say, okay, on our territory there will be possible to build a casino or to build a slot hall or something like this, because they won't have the direct money from it. This can affect the land base, and when the synergy of light dealer game, it can affect also the online market, of course. Yeah. But still, the positive maybe thing, just to end with the positive thing always, is there are still not any further marketing restrictions. So for the newcomers to the Czech Republic, still there is only a few very general things you have to apply or you have to implement, but still no harder marketing restrictions in advertising and promotion campaigns and so on. So far.
Thank you. So we have about 5 minutes left, and which leads me to the final conclusions from our speakers. And Gábor, since there are blocking websites in Hungary, which is questionable, they are also blocking payments. There's some new rule you want maybe to share, and there's also the blocking of advertisements. So could you have a final conclusion about what you expect and what maybe we can talk about in the later phase about the Hungarian market? If somebody from the audience might be from the government or maybe new government, because there's elections here coming up next year as well, right?
No.
No, that's good then. Okay, so as a final conclusion, you can talk all about this.
Yeah, thanks. So I think we foresee very exciting times, because I have to emphasize that this opening the market only relates to the online betting, but online casino gaming remains under the old regime. So it's a very dual phase situation, because the judgments of the European Court is still applicable regarding the online casinos, but not applicable anymore on online betting. So it will be a very tricky situation when a foreign operator provides both services on the same website. So I'm very curious what the Hungarian regulator will do. Only block the half part of the website and give license to the other part of the website. So I think the legal battles will continue. which is a good news for the lawyers. Not
Those who read the rules on the inside of the box.
yes, but yes, the government clearly wants to push the market to the regulated side. As you mentioned, they started again blocking European-based online betting sites from this September. This is the latest developments. They introduced the financial blocking from July. So I really recommend the panel discussion tomorrow about fintech, the relation between fintech and online betting, because licensed financial institutions could not contribute to pay out and pay in to unlicensed operators, and still advertisement of unlicensed operators is forbidden in Hungary. However, there are some leaks in the system because we see the biggest operators advertisements, for example, in the Formula 1 racing in Budapest, or this year the final of the European League, or UEFA European League, was held in Budapest, and we also see the sponsors next to the pitch. So it is also tricky. So in one sentence, we will see exciting times. However, the market is seemingly doing very well.
All right, thank you. Jasmina, as a final question to you, and with the failed attempts to market liberalization and Slovenia's approach being opposite to the current trend in the gambling regulation around Europe, what do you perceive as the major pros and cons of opening up the market in line with the broader European trends that are going on?
As a con maybe what also everyone who is against liberalization of the market is talking about is actually it will increase the number of people gambling. I don't completely agree. I mean, it could, of course, if we will see more advertising, but like I said, in general, Slovenian people already gamble on the internet, just not on the Slovenian sites. And in terms of pros, like I mentioned before, I mean, opening the market would definitely contribute to more investments, more business, more collected taxes. And if Slovenia decides to regulate this area a little bit more with care, I think it could also offer a lot more consumer protection than it currently has.
All right, thank you. Petr, you have the honor of ending this session, and I want to ask you about emerging trends and market synergy. So, with the trends pointing towards more restriction for the land-based operations, and there's noticeable synergy, by the way, in the meantime between land-based and online platforms, how do you envision the future of the gambling sector in Czechia? And how crucial are self-regulation efforts and events like the National Conference of Gambling and Responsible Gambling be key in shaping the future? Since we have the responsible gambling panel coming up next, we can tie it together with this, with your input.
Yeah, okay. So I've been talking a lot, so I will make it short right now, because I've touched a lot of what you have already said. Right now, it's the synergy between online and land-based business, the necessary synergy in the live dealer game operation. How it will work, we will see. Really, it's a bit early maybe, but still, everyone is preparing for it, and I think looking forward a little bit. The other thing, which will maybe somehow change the shape of the Czech market, is the switch from targeting to accessibility criterion. Because from the 1st of January 2024, it will be easier to block all the illegal websites. But illegal doesn't mean only like the villain illegal website without a license, but without a Czech license. So it should be impossible for all the not Czech licensed services to be accessible in the Czech Republic. But on the other hand, the Czech market in this point of view is quite open. There is no problem for anyone to come and fulfill the conditions, even with a foreign company, and to get a license, especially for online. It's quite, because there is no local restrictions, local regulations. The online is, when you fulfill all the conditions and you just can live with all the Czech specificities, it's not still bad. And as I said, not so hard marketing restrictions and advertising restrictions so far. So it's still good to use this opportunity to have a focus on the Czech market.
And how about the responsible gambling?
Yes. Sorry, I think that Jan will continue with the responsible gambling, because we are now heading to the responsible gambling week, which will be the first. It will start with a big conference on the end of October, and it will continue the whole week, the first in November. Everyone is warmly welcome to join all our activities, because it's mostly run by the Institute for Gambling Regulation. And then the last, maybe positive thing, still the Ministry of Finance, which is the main regulator, is still talking to the market, which is the opportunity too.
All right, so this has been the filtered version of the updates from Hungary, Czech Republic and Slovenia. So if you would like to get the unfiltered opinion of our experts, you can approach them during the coffee break. So, and of course in the evening networking sessions, once they start drinking some alcohol, maybe they will have different opinions about their regulatory streams. And with this, I would like to thank them for their inputs, which have been very awesome. So thank you so much. And I would like to, let's give them a round of applause. So, and I would like to invite the next moderator on screen, sorry, I'm so used